welcome to our first video, and in the first video we're going to be making a country. So as we make this country, this is a super simple tutorial. I'll try not to go too fast, but try not to go too slow, so it's not like a 30-minute video, I'm hoping. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating the mod, creating the folders and files, creating the country, history file, the flag file, localization, and assign the states that your country's in. The first thing we need to do is go to Hoi4. We're going to do this to get this out of the way. Right click and click properties, then down in advanced user in general, we want to type in -debug. This will put us in debug mode. It's good for testing. We're going to launch Play Hearts of Iron 4 so we can launch the menu, because we're going to make the mod. We're going to go to all mods. You probably won't see any of this. And we're going to go to upload mod, create mod. I'm going to name this YouTube mod. And I'm just going to put that down here too, make it version 1 and alternate history. You don't need a tag if you don't want one. You can change it later. And then okay. Our mod's made. Now we're going to click playset, add to current playset. And here we go. Now we have YouTube mod. The next thing we're going to do, since the mod does not have anything in it, is click these 3 dots and click show in folder. It will open this folder. And in here, we're going to create a folder, and this is going to be called common. We're going to make another folder. Call this history. We're going to need a few more folders after this, but we're going to work with these two for now. So in common, we're going to make a folder. We're going to call this countries, sorry. And we're going to go back to Steam. We're going to right click our game, manage, browse local files, and this is going to open the main Hearts of Iron 4 thing. So we're going in the main game file, we're going to go to common, countries, and choose any of these. I'm gonna do just the top one because it does not matter which one you do. I'm gonna paste in my folder. I'm gonna name it the country I want, which is gonna be Dinoburg. It could be whatever you want. And if you double click it in here, this is not really important, but you can change it to whatever you want. So color code, if you know color codes, I don't, so whatever that's going to give me. And we're going to go back to common in our folder, make another folder. We're going to call this country underscore tags. And we're just using the main folder as our template because it's easier than rewriting all the codes. So country tags in here. I'm going to grab 01 countries, and there's a reason. It's because there's only one in here if you open it. As if you open 00, there's a whole bunch. But before we do that, in 00, I'm going to click edit, find, and I'm going to type in DBG, Dinoburg. That's going to be my country tag I want. And I'm just checking if there's any countries with DBG, which there isn't, so I can use it. If I use a tag like OMA, which is Oman, it would overwrite that country. So we're going to copy 01, I'm going to paste it in country tags. That was an accident. I'm going to name it 02, so we can keep 01. And next I'm going to get rid of that indent and rename this to DBG. And then countries dash Dinoburg, your country folder. Or name. So there we go. Our country is made, but you won't find it in game yet. Now the next thing we're going to do, in both folders, go to history. History. And in history, in our mod folder, we're going to make a folder called countries again. And in here, we're going to find, I'm just going to grab Zimbabwe, because it's the smallest one in folder size. As you can see, small. Alright, now we're going to rename, oops, I'm clicking buttons. We're gonna rename our new Zimbabwe to DBG, and then right here, we're gonna do Dino Berg. There we go. Capital's here, and I'll show you how to get a capital in a bit. We are gonna make this fascism, so F-A-S-C, fascism, like so. And for this needs to add up to 100. This is how much people are going to be supporting your country. So far, Democratic 55, so we're going to make this 15 and this 55. This adds up to 100. It has to add up to 100. And we don't want to allow elections because it's fascist. Alright, so our country is now in the game. You just, again, can't see it. We're going to go back to history, make another folder. This one's going to be called States. And we're going to go to States in here, and now we're going to launch our game real fast. So make sure this playset is set to the same thing as this with your mod in it. We're going to launch our game. Now as you see, when we launch our game, you'll get this air thing. This is just their side. It's kind of just Hoi4's airs. I don't know why they have so many, but they do. You only see those in debug mode. We're going to click single player, new game, and we're just going to find a place we want to set our country. And I don't want to mess with any of these major countries just because, you know, they have a point of the story. So I'm going to go United Kingdom, and I'm going to take the Newfoundland area. So what we're going to do is grab the state ID. You could do more than one if you want to expand your country, but I'm just going to do one for simplicity. Alright, so this is the state I want to take. So this is 331. So in the main game states folder, we're going to type in 3 until we get down to 331 Newfoundland, or whatever one you're doing. Go back to ours, open our state, and in here we're going to type in DBG as owner. This will make the owner of us, and I'm not going to replace Canada, but I'm going to add another core, and I'm going to name it DBG. So now there's two cores, Canada and DBG. For state category, rural, you can't do anything, so I'm going to make it just a city so you can actually build on it. And we don't need to worry about anything else. That's all fine. Again, if you're making your country massive, you might want to change state category, and we'll go over that in another video because it's a bigger process. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, let me see. We have country files, history. We're going to create the flag. Alright, so creating the flag, super simple. In the Hearts of Iron mod folder you have, make a new folder called GFX. And we're going to go to GFX here, and then we're going to make a file called flags. And in flags, we're going to make two files called medium and small. Now, in the main folder, we're going to pick any of these. So if you want multiple flags, for example, if you want a communist flag and a democratic flag, then you would put the ideology at the end. So this is communist and this is democratic. And if you want them all to be the same flag, you do not put any ideology. So we're going to grab ADU. We're going to put it here and rename it to DBG, my country tag. And we're going to do the same thing for medium and small. ADU, which will be DBG. And small ADU, which will be renamed to DBG. Alright, and we're going to change something about them so they're not just a copy. And you're gonna notice a reoccurring theme. For some reason, I just always default to purple. No, it's not my favorite color, or pink, or whatever this is. I just end up doing it for some reason. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save it as a 24-bit, compress, turn this off, and click OK. And I'm just gonna go through and do this real fast to all of them. So it's, you know, different. Oops. Because I don't think that's not the right color. Small. Again, since I keep closing the editor, it's gonna keep defaulting my color to black, and I'm gonna just guess the color code. If I leave it open the entire time, I'm using paint.net by the way, it won't reset my color. I recommend paint.net for this because it's just easier to use. Alright. Now, we're gonna make the country leader, the fun part. So, what you want to do is go to GFX, make a new file, folder called leaders, right? And in their leaders, we're gonna borrow a simple one like, what's one without, not you, Jordan? Oh, we'll just do INS. Alright, because INS has one, so we're going to copy the INS folder and put it in our leaders folder. We're going to name this DBG. Now, if you don't have a leader, you don't need to add one. They'll just put on a default leader, but we're going to use a leader that you can do whatever you want to this leader or make your own, which I'm going to do. So, I'm going to open. And I made a leader a while ago for something else. I'm going to just click open when I drag him in. This was going to be for a different mod I was making that I'm not making anymore. And I'm just going to lasso him, Control C, and go back to this file, Control V, and keep canvas size. There are easier ways like figuring out the actual size of the image. But, you know, this is the easiest for me. Is just, I would recommend if you cannot paint, use AI generation. It's easier, and then just edit it with editor, and then you might have a really good image. But this is going to be our leader, and again, purple background. Don't question why, because I don't know. Just do it. I'm going to save it as a BBGR, B8GARAA8 linear. Yes, you need to save it as that. And we're also going to rename this portrait to portrait DBG underscore Bob. I don't know, give him a name. So DBG underscore Bob. And we're gonna save that later. Go to YouTube mod, go to history, now we're adding the leader. Again, this is the simple way to add a leader. There'll be a more complex way of how to do it later on. Simply because this way is not foolproof, and sometimes if the country gets taken over, it will not be the leader anymore. Under that same ideology sometimes. So we're gonna go history in this, and I believe if I go to like Cuba, no, they do not. So basically all we need to do is like find one like maybe Ethiopia. I don't remember which ones exactly. Okay, so we'll go to KUW, and we're gonna grab this code at the bottom, which is country leader, and we're gonna paste it at our bottom, like so. Remove all these tags real fast, like so. There we go. Now we're gonna GFX, so you don't want to delete this GFX leader, but then right after that we're gonna rename this to whatever our folder was called, which was GB, was it DBG? Sorry. And then portrait, and then if you have your portrait copied and pasted, you would just paste it, but I'm going to do DBG_Bob, because that's my portrait's name. And the name of the guy is going to be Bobby. There we go. His ideology. Okay, so for ideology, we're going to go to main folder, go to common, and we're going to go down to ideology. So for the ideology, there's democratic, but then there's these sub-ideologies. This is what you want to use for when you're setting the leader. For example, the leader we just stole is centrism, which is neutrality. We're going to be using fascism, and we're just going to do fascist ideology because that's the most basic one. So fascist ideology, there we go. Now our leader should show up, and we don't need that expires if you don't want your leader to die. Alright. Make sure you do have these 2 dashes or it won't work. Alright. Now we're gonna close that. And there's one more step and then we're done. And that is go here, make a new file, and we're making it named localization. And I probably misspelled that, so I'm going to make sure. Localization. I'm just going to paste it in here. Did not misspell it. Alright. And in localization, we're going to make a folder called English. I don't know if you necessarily need to. It probably won't affect it, but I'm going to do it anyways. And then in the English in here, I'm going to copy countries 1 and paste it in here. Now, this is the most entertaining part because it takes so long. I'm going to make a new text file. Don't worry about naming it, just make it. You'll see why in a second. And we're going to grab a country that's small in name, so China. Yeah, we'll grab China. Maybe. We'll grab China up to down. Yeah, just to where I'm grabbing. Make sure it's all just China. And I'm going to paste this in this new text file I made. And then I'm going to click edit, replace, and I'm going to replace chai with dbg and match case, so it only replaces these side ones. Replace all. Next, we're going to replace recognize China with Dinoberg, and of course if I keep replacing it like that, it's going to be so slow, so we're just going to copy and paste. Republic of Dinoberg, yeah, we'll do that. The Republic of Dinoberg. This will just be Dinoberg. And again, Dinoberg. Because we don't need to put too much effort in naming these unless you really want it. And we're going to go Dinoberg. Make sure you have your quotation marks. This is the, I guess, ethnicity. I'm not really sure the point of the ADJ, actually. I don't actually know what it is, but Dinobergian or something, that's what I would typically type, but fascist would be Dinoberg Empire, I guess. The Dinoberg Empire, just so I can show you the difference between them. And now we're going to copy this, all this stuff, close that file. You don't need to delete it. We're going to go in here, go all the way to the bottom, like so. And we're going to name, add comments saying my countries or something, so you know you don't get them mixed up. And we're going to paste this in. and Dinoberg setup. Now if we launch the game, Dinoberg should, unless I missed a step, which I'm going to check before I do launch the game. And also I'm going to make sure I put this in the right file, because sometimes I don't. Yep, alright. So, we added core and history. So, now Dinoberg will appear once you relaunch the entire game. So just exit game. And relaunch it. Alright, once the game's relaunched, click new game, load up any of the scenarios, it shouldn't matter, and find your country wherever you placed it. Now, as you can see, we have Dinoberg Empire, the flag, the leader, Bobby, the ideology, fascism, and the government, it's just fascism. Never elected leaders as well. Now, if we launch it, there isn't much you can do on, you have the default national focus, occupied land is just Canada, you don't have any other land, you don't have any factories, at least in this location, some locations you might, no troop designs, any of that stuff. And we will get into how to do all this stuff later on. This is just a simple first tutorial, and we'll see more of Bobby in future tutorials, because I'm going to pick off this mod. But you've started your first mod. Next mod, don't know what it will be about yet, but if you guys want to recommend an idea or what you want to see or what you need help with, I'm happy to take recommendations. And yeah, that's all. If you guys enjoyed, please like and subscribe. I'll see you later, and I'll try to do what you guys want. Yeah. Goodbye.